Grant gave a high priority to protecting and improving the status of blacks in the United States and tried to ship them out to the Caribbean country of the Dominican Republic.
That's fucking insane.
As a safety valve for them. Senator Charles Sumner was even more firmly devoted to black interests and opposed Grant's scheme.
Oh.
Sumner stopped the plan, and Grant retaliated by destroying Sumner's power. 1869, Grant proposed to annex the independent Spanish-speaking black nation of the Dominican Republic, which was then known as Santo Domingo. Previously, in 1868, President Johnson had proposed annexation, but Congress refused.
Ooh.
Why would they want to send a bunch of African Americans down to a Spanish-speaking place? They'll be even more out of place.
Yeah.
And then what are they going to do? They're going to displace the Santo Domingans.
Right. It just didn't seem right. In July of 1869, Grant sent Orville Babcock and Rufus Ingalls, who negotiated a draft treaty with Dominican Republic President Buenaventura Baez to keep the island nation and Baez secure in power. Grant ordered naval ships to secure the island from invasion and internal insurrection. Baez signed an annexation treaty on the 19th of November, 1869. Secretary Fish drew up a final draft of the proposal and offered $1.5 million to the Dominican national debt. The annexation of Santo Domingo as an American state, the United States acquisition of the rights for Samana Bay for 50 years with an annual $150,000 rental. And he also guaranteed protection from foreign intervention. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Wow.
On the 10th of January, 1870, Santo Domingo Treaty was submitted to the Senate for ratification. Grant made the mistake of not building support in Congress or the country at large.
Yeah. Because not only did Grant believe that the island would be of strategic value to the Navy,
It would have been.
particularly Samana Bay,
It would have been.
but also he sought to use it as a bargaining chip in domestic affairs.
That's also as well.
By providing a haven for the freedmen, he believed that the exodus of black labor would force Southern whites to realize the necessity of such a significant workforce and accept their civil rights.
Like, hey, man, you guys can come back. You just got to give me a couple months for these frickin' crackers down here to realize what's going
how
on.
much they miss you.
Right.
He hoped that the U.S. ownership of the island would push Spain to abolish slavery in Cuba and Puerto Rico, and perhaps Brazil as well.
Oh.
March 15th, 1870, the Foreign Relations Committee, which was headed by Sumner, recommended against the treaty passage.
Yeah, they could have done something, like spruce it up a little bit to make it work.
Wait, this dude's the leading spokesman for the African-American civil rights, but he doesn't want... I mean, right, who would think it was a good idea to ship a bunch of African-Americans somewhere anyway?
All the other stuff was a good idea for Santo Domingo, but not that part. Sumner, the leading spokesman for the African-American civil rights, he believed that annexation would be enormously expensive, it would, and involve the United States in an ongoing civil war, and would threaten the independence of Haiti and the West Indies, thereby blocking black political progress. Possible, I forgot about Haiti and the West Indies. Sons of bitches, take them over too. On May 31st, 1870, Grant went before Congress and urged passage of the Dominican Annexation Treaty. Strongly opposed to ratification, Sumner successfully led the opposition in the Senate. 30th of June, 1870, Santo Domingo Annexation Treaty failed. 28 votes in favor of the treaty and 28 votes against. Grant's cabinet was divided over the Santo Domingo annexation attempt, and Bancroft Davis, assistant to Secretary Hamilton Fish, was secretly given info to Senator Sumner on State Department negotiations.
Oh,
you traitor. You fucking traitor.
Wait a minute, it was 28 to 28, so who got the deciding vote then?
All right, the head of the Senate,
Is
right?
it Republicans for the Senate?
I don't know.
Weird. Grant, he was determined to keep the
I think I have
Dominican
2/3.
Republic.
Yeah, 2/3.
Grant was determined to keep the Dominican Republic Treaty in the public debate, mentioning Dominican Republic annexation in his December 1870 State of the Union address. December.
This dude's adamant.
Grant, he was able to get Congress in January 1871 to create a special commission to investigate the island. Senator Sumner, he continued to vigorously oppose and speak out against annexation.
Yeah.
Grant then appointed Frederick Douglass, who was an African-American civil rights activist, as one of the commissioners who voyaged to the Dominican Republic. He's like, this place is fucking trash.
Right.
Returned to the United States after several months, the commission in April 1871 issued a report that it stated the Dominican people desired annexation and that the island would be beneficial to the United States. Of course they would say that.
Right. Like, oh, yeah, they're for it. To celebrate the commission's return, Grant invited the commissioners to the White House, except for Frederick Douglass, because blacks weren't allowed in the White House unless he was serving them food. Right?
That's fucked up.
African-American leaders were very upset at this, and the issue of Douglass not being invited to the White House was brought up during the 1872 presidential election by Horace Greeley. Douglass, however, who was personally disappointed for not being invited. He remained loyal to Grant and the Republican Party.
Oh.
Although the commission supported Grant's annexation attempt, there was not enough enthusiasm in Congress to vote on a second annexation treaty.
I mean, yeah, no, so if somebody's not enthused, they're not going to do that.
Right.
Unable constitutionally to go directly after Senator Sumner, Grant immediately removed Sumner's close and respected friend, who was Ambassador John Lothrop Motley.
Oh, this dude is...
Just remove him.
Yeah.
Well, he's a senator. I guess you can't. With Grant's prodding in the Senate, Sumner was finally deposed from the Foreign Relations Committee.
Okay.
Grant then reshaped his coalition known as New Radicals, working with enemies of Sumner such as Ben Butler of Massachusetts, Roscoe Conklin of New York, that's a South name, and Oliver P. Morton of Indiana, giving in to Fish's demands that Cuba rebels be rejected, and moving his southern patronage from the radical blacks and carpetbaggers, who were allied with Sumner, to more moderate Republicans.
Okay.
This set the stage for the liberal Republican revolt of 1872, when Sumner and his allies publicly denounced Grant and supported Horace Greeley with the liberal Republicans.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a congressional investigation in June 1870 led by Senator Carl Schurz revealed that Babcock and Ingalls, they both had land interests in the Bay of Samana.
Oh, jeez.
And that land interest would increase dramatically in value if the Santo Domingo Treaty were ratified. I see. U.S. Navy ships, with Grant's authorization, had been sent to protect Baez from an invasion by a Dominican rebel, Gregorio Luperon, while the treaty negotiations were taking place. The investigation had initially been called to settle a dispute between an American businessman, Davis Hatch, against the United States government. Baez had imprisoned Hatch without trial for his opposition to Baez's government. Hatch had claimed that the United States had failed to protect him from imprisonment. The majority of congressional report dismissed Hatch's claim and exonerated both Babcock and Ingalls. The Hatch incident, however, kept certain senators from being enthusiastic about ratifying the treaty.
There's always something